we can start with the last session before you write on Thursday. Okay, so let's quickly take that away. Again, I will share the recording as well as the final presentation with you guys in the WhatsApp chat as well. Okay, so let's get going. Okay, so we're just continuing where we left off last night. So just checking on a few extra things that we can just make sure that we've covered everything for you guys. So again, really looking at a few things from a different way. So what is the number of square tiles needed to cover a rectangular surface, which is 4 by 3? If your surface is 4 by 3, and each one of the tiles is 10 centimeters. Okay, so each of the tiles 10 centimeters. What is share the link in the chat. Okay, so what we need to do is to get the total area. So get the total area, and then we will divide by the total, the area of a tile. And that will tell us how many tiles we need. Okay, so but first let's also, tiles is in centimeters, other one is in meters, so I would rather want everything to be in centimeters at least, when I at least know that it is easier to work with when we divide. So when we change it into centimeters, that will be 400 centimeters, and that will be 300 centimeters. So the total area in centimeters will be 400 times 300, which gives us 120,000. Interesting enough, that one. And then we know a tile is 10 centimeters, so 10 by 10 gives us 100. So if we divide 120,000 by 100, we will see how many tiles are needed. And that gives us 1,200 tiles that we need to have for this area. Okay, so first need to work out the total area, and then from total area, we will need to work out what is the area of a tile, and then to work out how many tiles. We take the total area divided by the area of a tile. Okay, so that will give us 120,000 divided by 100. Okay, again, easier to change the meters to centimeters at the beginning, else we must say 4 times 3 is 12 meters divided by 100 centimeters square, and then it becomes really difficult. So, or change everything to centimeters, or change everything to meters, but please just make sure that when there are different nearly matrices used, please convert to the same one, else it really becomes very, very difficult to start working it out when it has different measurements. Okay, so let's look at the next one. Nearly the same type of exercise. So a rectangular tank is 25-meter long. Okay, so it's more something like that. 25-meter long, 6-meter wide, 12-meter wide, sorry, and then we've got it as 6-meter deep. So let's just, that's 6 meters, 12, and 25. Okay, and let's see what they ask us. And the rand value. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, so the tank is open. What is the cost of plastering the inside of its walls and bottom at 26 rand per square meter? Okay, that is now again, it's good that we do something like this, because not that we've seen a question like this before. Okay, so let's see. So basically we need to make sure that we plaster the inside. So there's going to be the one wall at the back that we need to plaster. So that is a 25 by 6 that we need to plaster. Then there is the wall or the area at the bottom. So that is a 12 by 25. And again, I rather just draw everything out so that we can, so got that one at the back, the one at the bottom. So then we've got the one in the front, which is again 25 times 6. So then that is all the longer ones that we covered. Then we've got the two on the side. So the 2 on the side is 12 times 6. And we have it on the other side as well, the same, the 12 times 6. So if you nearly think about it, if we close that up, that's the bottom of the tank, that's the one side, that's the back end, that's the left hand, and this is the front end of the tank, and we need to basically work out what those total area is, and the total area we will then multiply by 26 Rand per square meter. Okay, so 25 times 6 is 150. So here is another 150. 12 times 25, 300. 6 times 12, 72. This side is also 72. So the total area is 150 plus 300 plus 150 plus 72 plus 72. That gives us 744 square meters. And if 1 square meter is 26 Rand, how much will be 744? So we times 744 with 26, and we get 19,344. Okay, cool. 19,344. Okay, so very important, nearly, that what we needed to do is we need to basically work out what the area of a plastering will be. So for that, we need to work out the area of the back wall, the area of the 2 side walls, the area of the front wall, and the area of the bottom. And we keep the tank open, so we don't need to work out the extra 300 that would have been on top of the tank. Okay, so that is how we would work out this one. Again, an interesting one. I haven't seen something like this in some of the other previous papers, so again, think it's good that we are covering this. Okay, let's just, I've seen in some of the papers, they talk about exchange rates and things like that. I just wanted to make sure that we at least cover one, if there is something of this in your exam. I haven't really seen other questions like this. I just wanted again to make sure that we nearly cover it, just to make sure that we nearly have everything that might be in there. So let's quickly look at this one. So the Makoto wants to travel to see a friend in Spain. She has been given 10,000 spending money. How many euros can she repurchase if the exchange rate is 1 euro to 10 Rand 68? Okay, so all that we're going to do here is to say, well, if 1 euro is equal to 10 68. How many euros do I have if I've got 10,000 rand? This was ages ago when euros was still affordable. So 10,000 divided by 10.68. So how we will work out how many euros is to say 10,000 divided by 10.68. And that gives us 936.33 euros. It's something like that. Okay, so 936.33 euros. So again, you can check your answer to say 936.33. If we multiply that by 10.68, you are then supposed to get a number close to 10,000. So if we had 936.33 times 10.68, when we round it off, it is just what is it, 10,000.0044 cents. So it is roughly the 10,000. Okay, so just wanted to make sure if you guys get something like this, that you will be able to work it out. Okay. Let's see what else we have that we can make 100% sure that we cover everything. Okay, so a bit of so again, some permutation combination at the bottom. At the top, a bit of a ratio. So the cost of fish has increased in the ratio 9:7. If the original cost was R5.60 per kilogram, what is the new price? Okay, this is an interesting one. Okay, so the cost of fish has increased in the ratio 9:7, 9/7 times 5.6. So the new price is 9 times 5.6, which is 50.4, divided by 7, which gives us 7.2. And so 7 rand and 20 cents. Okay, so cost of fish have increased in ratio 9:7. So if the original cost was 5.60, the new cost will be 9/7 times 5.6. Okay, so that is, if you set 7/9, you will get 4.35 rand. But when it's not an increase, then it's actually a decrease. So that's why if you look at the ratio, it must be 9/7 because it is an increase in cost. Okay. Then let's quickly look at question 3. So the first thing, is it combination or is it permutation? So that is, again, nearly the most important thing that we need to ask first, because that will determine which formula we will use. So combination or permutation is the most important question first. So what would you guys have said, combination or permutation? So let's quickly read what it says. 6 men and 8 women have volunteered to serve on a committee. How many different committees can be formed containing 3 men and 3 women? Okay, so there's no ordering, so there's no rank, no positioning nearly. So for this one, because there is no order or no rank, it's not permutation, but combination. So it is the combination, and then each committee form containing 3 men and 3 women. So for the one, we have 6 men, so N is 6, combination 3. And then for the women committee, we've got 8, combination 3. Okay, so let's look on your calculator again. There's the NCR function. So 6 N 3 R. This is, I hope it is right. I get that as 20. It really feels like it's not going to be close. That 8 combination 3. Please just check for me because I now I also get 1120. Okay, normally we don't get one of none of the above. So sure, okay. So definitely it's none of the above because 6 combination 3 is 20, 8 combination 3 is 56. You multiply the two together, you get 1120. Yes, there is a question.
Say, hi, how are you?
Good, and you?
I'm good. I'm struggling with the combination, the permutation. So I wanna know how to differentiate them. Like how am I gonna know for okay, I'm gonna calculate this one with this formula. Like I'm really
Okay,
struggling with this one.
so permutation. So let's quickly go to last night's one where, so when we had the permutation, we needed to say there needs to be a chairman, needs to be a vice chair, there needs to be, so in putting the committee together, there needed to be certain roles in there. So that is why the person must be in one of those roles. So, and the easiest to think about it is if you're the chairman, I'm the vice chair, that is one permutation. if I'm the chairman and you're the vice, that's another permutation. So with permutations, the order matters. With a combination, all that the combination is saying is that it's me and you that's going to be in the committee. Doesn't matter if you're the vice and I'm the chair, or you the chair and I'm the vice. So with a combination, it doesn't matter who is in which role. Permutation, they need to tell you that there is an order in who is where. So they might ask a similar question to say, there are 6 teachers that's on a committee. One of them needs to be the headmaster. One of them needs to be the vice headmaster, and then the others don't worry. So then we have a permutation because the headmaster needs to be in one of the positions, where if it's a combination, we don't really care who is in the committee. Everybody just have a chance of getting in the committee. So that's nearly the difference between combination and permutation. Okay, does that help a bit?
Yes, thank you, sir.
Cool. Okay, so again, permutation, combination. So let's see what is a car dealer is offering any 4 of 6 special options at the same price on a special equipped car being sold. How many different choices of specially equipped cars do you have? Okay, so I like this example because it's nearly, and I love my McDonald's. So it would have been nearly the same to say, I can go to McDonald's, I can get a special on 4 of the items that I select out of 6 options. So if I want a Big Mac plus chips plus cool drink plus whatever, it doesn't matter what my selection is. So the dealer is offering any 4 of 6. So I can pick whatever I want. There's no order in it. So that means that we deal with a combination. In total, N is 6 because there is 6 things that I can pick out of, and I need to pick 4 of them. So I will have 6 combination 4. Okay, so 6 combination 4 is equal to 15. Okay, so let's also just again look at the formula for that as well. So that is on the formula page. So let's quickly write this formula. Okay, so we know the n is 6, so 6 factorial is 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 over 6 minus 4. That basically, sorry, I am using the wrong formula. It must be a r factorial as well. Sorry, I was first writing down permutation formula. So let me just quickly, it's n factorial n minus r. Okay. So 6 minus r would have been 6 minus 4, which would have been 2 factorial, times r, which is 4, so times 4 factorial. Okay, so that would have been the formula, and then we could cancel out the 1 and the 1, 2 and the 2, 3 and the 3, 4 and the 4. 2 goes into 2 once, 2 goes into 6 3 times. So at the top, we've got 3 times 5, which is 15. At the bottom, we've got 1 times 1, which is 1. So 15 divided by 1 gives us 15, which is exactly the same as we would have gotten on the calculator. So again, for this one, combination, because you can select any 4. So it's not that you need to select a steering wheel with something else, with a gearbox, you can basically choose any 4 of the 6 items. Okay, so that means we are dealing with a combination. Okay, let's see what else did I add. So this also was, we did it, I think, 2 or 3 sessions ago. We did it, but I just wanted to do this again and just see if we actually now have enough information on it. So let's just quickly see this one. Triangle ABC is similar to triangle ADE. What is the area of triangle ADE? I think this is the one where we were supposed to have more information. I think that was also shared in a WhatsApp group at a stage where there was not enough information, because so we have the, so just quickly, to work out area is half times base times height. Got the height, we don't have a base. Okay, so we can, sure, okay. So we've got, let's quickly see what we have. We've got ABC, so if we can get that, we can get that, we can get that, but that again does not, okay, no, so we need a piece of information to tell us what is the other break as well. So we don't have enough information with this one, so I am actually going to take it out. So we have enough information to work out what AB is, because so let me just show what we have. Okay, so we've got enough information to work out AB because they tell us that whole triangle is 90. So we've got a half, we've got the base of 12. So we don't have a height, but we know that area is equal to 90. So a half times 12 is 6. H will be 90. So if we want to work out the height, it is 90 divided by 6, which is 15. Okay, so we can work out that that is 15. Then using Pythagoras, we can work out what is that length, because Pythagoras tells us that length of BC, that, well, let's call it, there is no name, so let's say that length of AC square is equal to 15 square plus 12 square, so we can work out that length, so that is 15 to the power of 2 plus 12 to the power of 2 is 369. So that square root is that we get AC, the length of AC is 19.21. Okay, so now we have that, but we don't know how long AD is. They tell us that length, they tell us that length. We don't know what that length is. So that is because we need to at least know what AD is, and they don't give us information on that. So that is, we can guess, but what does that help us? So we can maybe say it looks like a third or something like, but really we can't really do anything else with that. Okay, so with this one, there's definitely information missing, and I think if I remember from the WhatsApp groups, one of these sites, a piece was written in, and obviously with this it was not. So this is not something we can work out. So I am rather just gonna delete it out of the pack as well, so that it, when you later on look at it, you don't get confused with this one. There is in previous of the previous sessions at the top, we have done some of those as well. And so you can definitely go back to the previous sections, and we have done something where it actually worked out. Okay, so let's look then at this question. So an inspector visits a large company to check its vehicles. The company has the following vehicles: 5 large load vehicles, 150 light vans, and 25 cars. The inspector decides to take a sample of 20% of all the vehicle. Each type of vehicle is to be represented in the sample. So you will use the stratified random sampling technique. The number of light vans that should be inspected is the number of light vans. And this is quite, I haven't seen a question like this also before, so good that we are covering it. So what would you guys have said? The inspector decides to take a sample of 20% of all the vehicles. Each vehicle or each type of vehicle is to be represented in the sample. So you will use the stratified random sampling technique. The number of light vans that should be inspected is. Okay, so any idea what you would have done here? Okay, so we only need to find out how many light vehicles. Okay, so basically we need to take 20% of that, 20% of that, 20% of that to find out what our total sample would have been. But we only want the number of light, so we can just say 20% of the light vans, that will be our sample for the light van. So 20% times 150 is 26 light vans. Okay, so if we wanted to find out what was the total sample that we're going to have, we're going to have 20% of light vans, 20% of load, large load, that would have been 1, and then 20% of the cars would have been 5. So if we wanted the total sample, it would have been 5 plus 26 is 31, would have been 32. Okay, so again, you can see how this now can be played out in your exam where different questions are being asked, like there's going to be 2 or 3 different questions that they can ask out of a question. So for one of the papers, it could have been the 20% of all the vehicles, so it's 32. They could have said that you want to know what is the number of cars that would be inspected, then it is 5. For us, the number of light vans is 26, and they probably could have at some point get to 16 as well. Okay, so just when we look at this one, nearly look at it from the point that if I wanted the total sample, we could have also said, okay, there's 5, there's 150, there's 25. So that gives us 5 plus 25 is 50, plus 150 gives us 60. So that is 160 vehicles. If I'm taking 20% of that, I am also getting my 32 vehicles. And that vehicles will then be split into 5 in my sample, 26 and in my sample, and 5. Okay, so that's also a way that you could have worked it out. Okay, so let's look at the next one. It is now more to do with yeah, average and modes. So getting a set of data, so they tell us there's seven drivers, and then they give us the incomes of the seven, and you can see it is not ordered, so we need to order it to get the median, and I think the next questions, so we'll work out what that is as well. So, and I will show you in Excel, but let's quickly, seven drivers. So let's order it. Smallest is 1080. Then, okay, there's the 1580. Oh, there's a 1540 that I skipped. There's another 1580. That is four numbers already. There's a 1800, five numbers. Then there's a 2000, so that's six numbers. And then the last one is 2500. Also don't like it that they nearly split it up, because that also can make it that you only see the 500 instead of the 2500. Okay, let's go to that one that asks us for mode. The mode is the one happening the most. So that is the 1580. Option 2 would have been the mode. To get the average is the sum of all the values divided by n. So if we add all of them together, we get 1080 plus 1540 plus 1580 plus 1580 plus 1800 plus 2000 plus 2500, which gives me a total of 12080. We're also now going to check it with Excel. So if we say that divide by 7, I get 1725.71. So I am going to check this again. It might have been that somewhere I might have made a mistake because I don't get it, but else it is none of the above. Okay, so let me quickly just open Excel as well, and I will again share this with you. So don't worry. I will share this after the session tonight with you guys on the WhatsApp group. So I'm just gonna type in now all of them. No, not gonna worry now about ordering. And I will make it bigger now for you guys as well. Okay, so that is our numbers. So let's quickly, let's do that. The mode. So the mode is equal to and what I'm going to do as well is there is another function of mode that is multi. I'm going to keep that open because let me quickly show you guys. If there is two modes, this multi function will pick it up. So let's say that was 2500. Then suddenly your mode will also show that there is actually two modes in this data set. So I rather normally like to work with a multi-mode, just again, if there is something weird happening, and we know they love to do weird things in these subjects, so let's just make sure that we cover everything for you guys. Okay, so then the average, so let's quickly look at the average, or the mean is exactly the same thing. Okay, so it was what we worked out, 127 or 1725.71. Okay, so it was none of the above. So that was the correct one. Then the other two questions that we had around this was standard deviation and then quartile deviation. Okay, so let's quickly, standard deviation, there is a formula for that in Excel. So the standard deviation for a sample, because we're working with a sample. So standard deviation 442.375. 44. So again, I don't like this way. So let's just quickly, standard deviation of the income. I really don't like this where there's so many of none of the above. Sure. Hmm. Okay, so it's definitely, I don't normally there's not so many none of the above. So that for me is just very, very weird in this question. And I don't know, in your guys's assignments, was there also options of none of the above, or did you normally get 4 options? Okay, so yeah, so they have moved away with all these none of the above in exams because yeah, that, so this was, and you guys can now see this was nearly pre-COVID, pre-online, where nearly each question had none of the above. So for you, again, there will not be these types of where they include none of the above. It is normally it is the 4 options. Okay, because again, this we've worked out correctly. It is sample. So even, let's quickly check if we use the population, but it should not be, yeah, it should be less. So there's even, so it is definitely sample standard deviation. Okay. Then there is on that list of formulas, and let me quickly, I want to quickly check if I can go into the WhatsApp group where I shared that. Okay, so let's quickly put that. Okay, so if you look at, and again, something that I did not really see at the beginning, but only saw in this. So there is the QD. So that is your quartile deviation. Okay, so, and I have not, again, nearly seen it in previous work in the study guide. I can't remember that I've seen quartile deviation at all. But that is the quartile deviation, quarter 3 minus quarter 1 divided by 2. So again, for this, we don't have a quartile deviation, but let us write it in so that we say it is Q3, Q1, and then that answer would be equal to the Q3 minus Q1 and they set divided by 2. Okay, so I have not seen that quartile deviation before, but at least we have a quartile function. So if I ask it, I don't think it will be in, but let's just make 100% sure. If there by fluke something like that is in, we have at least something that you guys can again work with, because I'm just always wary of some of these things. Okay, so the quartile deviation 170, so I don't even know. See, so again, so I'm not this, it feels to me again, this things were probably they made a mistake with some of this information, and that's why these things look so weird. Because again, out of 1, 2, 3, 4 questions, you suddenly have that none of them, or one of them as an answer. So again, it does not sit well with me. So I'm just, so I will share this with you guys. But again, it feels like the information that was in this paper was, there was something massively wrong with it. And it might have been that was as simple as they changed some of these numbers, from one exam to the other, but have not changed, because you can see these four and these four are exactly the same answers. If you look at again, so it's exactly the same answers. So they've basically just copy and pasted the four answers is exactly the same. So it just can't be. So somewhere they made a mistake in this exam when they changed some of the numbers. So again, please, after you've written, so don't while you write type a message and say you think there's a mistake on the paper. So please, after, you can make notes, so write somewhere down question 15 looks weird. And after you've written, you can send me a WhatsApp, so that if there are a few people that have the same issues with some of the questions, one can definitely let them know. So I've done it with BNU as well. So there was one or two students that afterwards said, but this was nearly what was the question, and when I worked it out with them, realized that it wasn't a mistake on the paper. Um, Instead of the one number you used, instead of 20, you used 10, and that just created that everything was wrong. So, but please, afterwards, let me know if there was questions that you guys think was not right, and you can, if you feel, write down some of the numbers on a piece of paper. Again, please don't take pictures of the paper in the exam, because that will be flagged as well. But this is definitely, one can see, we followed the processes, and it just feels that somehow the information, it's not even close. So if we look at the information that we got here, the only one was for 1580, but that's because it was double. There was two of them. So, but for the rest, I think they made a mistake somewhere. Okay, the last question nearly that I wanted us to look at, and then we can nearly discuss some of the things around the paper and things that you guys need to be just cognizant of. So let's look at what they're asking us here. Assume that in the year 2014, the consumer price index was 102.7 in in February, and 110.5 in November. An employee's wage was 2,000 in February and 22,145 in November. In relation to the value of a rand in November, his wage has. Okay, so they want us to basically say, if this was his wage in Feb, and his wage in November was 24,145, did it go up with the same rate as inflation? And if so, what was the difference between the two. Okay, so let's quickly work that out. 110.5 divided by 102.7 times 20,000. Okay, so what I would have done, let's just see if it makes sense. And please correct me here. I would have said 110 divided by 102.7 times 20,000. That should be the value of his wage in November. Okay, so I don't really get that, so let's round it off a bit. We'll also now check if I made a mistake somewhere. So 22,145 minus 21,518. 626. Okay, so we don't get 626 here. So let's also just check in relation to the value of the rand in November. And so let's just converse those two. Just want to check if that is also maybe the other way around. So let's just quickly do that. So what would you have done in this instance? But I don't want to say none of the above again. So what I'm getting is 22145 minus 2151, let's say 519. So I get 262 if I subtract those two. Let's quickly just check if this is something that is somewhere in your study guide, because again, I haven't seen this. So let's just make 100% sure this is still part of what you guys need to do, because there's another one that I've seen that I also haven't picked up in your study guide. So this was one component, and there was a question on, let me quickly, okay, so that's what I also thought, it's ratio, but is this ratio, see, that's why I don't like the none of the above, because it feels like this, what I've done was correct. So we'll get to this one now. So I agree. For me, it's just, I would have used the ratio. That's why it feels to me it's 110 divided by the 102.7, and I multiply by 20,000, and that should have been the value. So that value is actually more. If one just look at the value of the rand from 20 to 22, so where is that one? So I'm just worried that this is something specific that they have done in previous years that they're not doing now. The same with this question. So that you can see it's how many years ago. So there's all those the price, simple consumer price things. But again, I have not came across this, what that index is. So I have, again, any of you, and can you remember from previous assignments that something like this was ever talked about? Because it feels to me that these two are linked to work that was previously done. Yeah, see, and that's what making it a bit confusing sometimes to look at previous exam papers when certain things have fallen off. So nearly for me, I would, again, for you guys, this, if you see this in a previous exam paper, don't worry about this. If you see this, don't nearly worry about it unless we are just working with ratios. Okay, but don't go now and study up on CPI and how that changes and things like that, because I think that was when it was still a more linked to economics component, where the consumer price index and this other thing that I don't even know how to pronounce, is looking, that it was in work that we're not covering anymore. So let me quickly, let's Google what it is, so that I see. So I know we haven't done this at all. So that, if you want to nearly, we haven't done these things at all in this study. So again, let's not focus on it. You can see it was about 6 years ago. So this is definitely not something that I have seen in this study guide at all. And I've been through the study guide specifically for this one a few times, and I could not find anything around that. So I think this one, again, is one of those of previous papers where there is just, it was just dropped out of the current work that you guys need to focus on. Okay, so I will keep it in the deck so that if you just am worried that it pops up, but I won't really look at it because, yeah, as I said, I've been through the um, study guide now a few times to look for this. It's not even part of the formula page. So again, that shows to me that this is not again a formula that was used a lot. So that tells me that I think this was probably more when there was a big economic focus in this subject as well. Okay, so I just wanted to show those last two because um, there was a few questions around that and how to work it out. Again, it was not part of your studies, so that's why it wasn't covered anywhere. So sometimes just be wary of previous exam papers where certain things have changed. And one is definitely on this index, and really there is no focus on consumer price index, or rather use it as a way of a ratio than anything else. Okay, so that is it for tonight, guys. So I'm gonna stop recording so that I can post it on the WhatsApp group.